All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to first ask those who can rise to please rise for the singing of O Canada. Okay, I'll ask the CAO to take the roll call, councillors.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. District 1, Councillor Sean Sampson.
Present.
District 2, Councillor Michael Digdon. Present. District 3, Councillor Melanie Sampson.
Present.
District 4, Ward Amanda Monket is absent with regrets. And District 5, Deputy Warden Brent Sampson.
Present.
The roll has been called, Mr. Chair.
All right, so items added to the agenda, I've got a couple here. First one, an amendment to item number 6. So we've got a rearrangement. It's required for item number 6 to have EDPC present first. And the other item added to the agenda here is a correspondence from Director of Public Works, Chris Boudreau, regarding the Point Michaud Beach Building briefing note. It was circulated today in your agenda, item 14D. Any other items to add to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll ask for an approval of the agenda as amended.
I'll move the approved agenda, the amended agenda.
Seconder? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, so next item is we have the review of minutes from the March 27th, 2023 regular council meeting. Any errors or omissions to report? Hearing none, I'll ask for an approval of the minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Seconder?
Yeah, I'll second.
Seconded, okay. It's been moved and seconded that the minutes of the March 27, 2023 regular council meeting be approved. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, item number 6 here. We have an appeal of a cleanup order issued for property PID 750-08466. And we'll first hear from the Eastern District Planning Commission. Okay.
Your Ward, yep.
Yeah.
If I may, as the representative of District 1, I've had numerous complaints from residents about this process here in this particular property. So, yeah, in the end, I took all that information and I subsequently filed that complaint with Mr. Bain. So I'm going to remove myself from this conversation.
Sure.
Okay.
Be noted. All right, go ahead, sir.
Hi, good evening. Sean Donovan, Manager of Inspection Services with Eastern District Planning Commission. So you've seen the property information, the property of Mr. Thomas Richard at 116 Boudreauville Road. Timeline for this, so we received the complaint form on the above referenced property On the complaint form, it was referenced that the above referenced property being unsightly. We completed a site visit on March 23rd, 2023. During our inspection, we found derelict vehicles, piles of scrap metal, tires, other miscellaneous items. We spoke to the owner at that time and advised him that we would be issuing a 30-day cleanup order. We returned on March 29th, 2023 to issue that cleanup order. During this visit, it was noted that some of the loose tires had been stacked on a flatbed tire to be removed, along with other items that had already been removed. At that time, there was already one load of trailers to be removed. The owner provided me with photos and information of that. So prior to us even issuing the order, the property owner did start the cleanup process of the yard. So property on March 23rd, 2023, this is the front of the property. You'll notice some of the truck vehicles there that the owner had removed. To date, since we've been on the property, 8 vehicles were removed from the property. The vehicles that remain on the property are inspected, registered, they're all up to date, so there's nothing, we wouldn't consider them a derelict vehicle. Those have been removed. So this is the property on Friday, April 21st, 2023. So you can see the vehicles, the trucks that were there prior to that have been removed. The ones that are registered and licensed have now been parked accordingly. Some of the derelict vehicles that were removed and some of the scrap metals from our initial visit, items of machinery and the tires in the back, those are the ones that have been removed. I believe to date there's been a load of 75 and a load of 87 tires removed from the property. The owner has records of that as they were brought to the landfill. So you can see on Friday, that same area has been cleaned and removed, the significant amount of debris and material that has been removed from the property. Again, our first visit, March 23rd, the tires, some derelict vehicles, some items of machinery and equipment. And then this was the day that we issued the order on the 29th. This was the second load of trailers that was stacked up. The owner had provided us with photos of the first load that was gone. Like I said, the day that we issued the order, the owner had taken it upon himself to start the necessary work. This was Friday, April 21st, with another load ready to go, finishing on that trailer to go to the landfill as well. So you can see the property is in the process of being cleaned up. So with the Municipal Government Act, it does meet the Municipal Government Act as a dangerous and unsightly. It states it as being partly demolished, decayed, deteriorated, or in a state of repairs to be dangerous, unsightly, or unhealthy, and includes the property containing. So ashes, junk, cleaning of yards, rubbish, refuse or derelict vehicles, items of equipment, machinery, or bodies or parts thereof. So we took that under consideration prior to issuing the order. That order, when we issued it on March 29th, was appealed by the property owner, hence why we are here today. So our recommendation is that council uphold the 30-day order, and speaking with the owner today, our recommendation is that 30 days start from today. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Any questions from council?
We'll be hearing from the landowner, right? Yep, okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you very much. Okay, next I'd ask if the landowner wants to speak to this. Yeah. You can grab a seat there if you want.
This one. Not dead yet. Anyway, I just wanted to say, he mentioned to me, which I knew already, which this was a ongoing thing every year. I was trying to do things, but I got 6 kids that come in, try to fix things, this and that, but they usually leave their junk a little bit behind. So this year they helped clean up. But like I say, there's probably a trailer or 2 of old wood that was sitting around. That's gonna go. There's a couple of truck caps and liners, that's all gone. And everything else down on that side, that my next door neighbors, I guess, I don't know, either side, they got a mess, but that's blind eye to me. But anyway, that's gonna be all cleaned up. And if I could get another 30-some days, which I think 3 weeks might do it, but not sure because of the weather. And as I speak to you, as March 10th, I ended up taking a Bell's palsy stroke, and my face is still not right. I went for x-rays. Dr. McNeil's my doctor, you can check it out. And I'm waiting for a call from Andy Guinness for an MRI because of my face and my nerve endings and things hitting me in my face. There's some pills that I have to still take to stop the nerve endings, if you want to see that. Anyway, and I'm trying to do the best I can, but I know I got to clean it up, and I will clean it up. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
You know, you talk to me right, I talk to you right, I do what you need to be done.
Any questions from council?
Yeah, I just have the one, I guess. So Tommy, you figure 3 weeks? You
Well,
want
give me
3 to 4
30
weeks,
days.
be no problem?
Give me the 30 days, because
Okay.
you know what happens at this time of year?
Yeah, so I guess,
Rains and everything goes on funny.
right, so I guess then in fairness to both sides, that was the recommendation by the District Planning Commission to, from this day, right, 30 days from today?
Yeah, so we would just recommend that the 30 days be upheld and that 30 days start from today.
Okay, so,
Okay.
it seems like
So
both
that-
parties
Yeah,
are,
that would give you a month from now.
Yeah.
right, so it seems like both parties are fair with the 30 days, so at this
Yeah.
time I would make the, motion that, we, go with the EDPC's, recommendation to move forward with the order that you have 30 days to clean it up, and,
It's just like, you know,
yeah, it's just policy, but you figure within 30 days is no problem,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're willing to give you
yeah.
30 days,
it's
so.
just that I have I don't know the word for that one. But anyway, I didn't want to say the thing I was gonna say. But the thing is, the problem is, there's a 8-on, and this thing is not good. One side wants the land in the back, which I own, right?
Either way, that's neither
It's a whole
here
bunch
nor-
of stuff
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't make
neither here nor
sense.
there, but if you're,
But I'll get this done.
yeah, if you're feeling that 3 weeks works for you and the recommendation is 30 days from
Yes,
today, I
plenty, and
understand.
that'll be good.
So,
Okay.
the motion's been made, do we have a
Yeah.
seconder?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
All
Been
right?
moved and seconded, it'd be 30 days from today.
From
as
today, and then-
recommended by the EDPC.
Yep.
It's been moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Perfect,
All right,
Thanks,
thank you
guys.
very much.
thanks for coming in.
And at the end, no red carpet.
None. On either side.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
people.
fellas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sean.
it's very nice to
Thanks,
see you
John.
making all the right steps, so it's
Well, I
very
always do
good.
that.
No,
I'm
that's
not hard to
awesome.
get along with, but,
No,
you
that's
know,
awesome.
there's a lot of people you can't content in this world, right? Because they
So-
got bone in the wrong place, that's all I can say.
Take
So-
care.
Have a good one.
We'll ask Counselor Sampson, I'm not sure where,
I'll go get him.
okay.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we'll move on to the question period, which is restricted to items on the committee report. It's open to anybody in the gallery, or if you want to phone in, the number to call is 902-226-9885. 902-226-9885. We'll give that a couple of minutes. At least I didn't get a chance to welcome everybody in the gallery and those watching at home.
Well,
I'll say hello to Tom. He'll get that. Explain
the,
later.
Deputy Warden, there was an issue with the, sound, so you may have to repeat that again. I don't know if the has it corrected.
Good? Okay.
So just the audio wasn't being put out to the public,
Okay.
but the video was, so I don't know if you wanna repeat the phone number, just let
Yeah,
them know.
902-226-9885.
Not that we're flooded with calls all the time, but just in the event that.
So we'll move on to the committee reports. The committee of the whole, tonight we're gonna have that read by Counselor Sean Sampson. Whenever you're ready, sir,
Yep.
go ahead.
There you go. All set. So the committee met on April 11th of 2023. The committee discussed the Lord Wes Acadian Heritage Society grant request for Type 2 Startup Activity Grant Funds in the amount of $500. I move that the committee of the whole recommend to council that the Lord Wes Acadian Heritage Society grant request for Type 2 Startup Activity Grant Funds in the amount of $500 for the purpose of supporting the cost of equipment and supplies be approved and allocated as follows. $500 from District 5 funds.
It's been moved. Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, before you start on the next item, I'm gonna recuse myself because I have to for this item, and I'll ask Councillor Sampson to take the chair.
Okay, Councillor Shannon, you're up.
Yep. The committee discussed the St. Peters Grand River Loch Lomond Pastoral Charge Grant request for Type 4 Recreation Regional Health General Grant Funds in the amount of $5,000. I move that the Committee of the Whole recommend to Council that the St. Peters Grand River Loch Lomond Pastoral Charge Grant request for Type 4 Regional Health General Grant Funds for the purpose of supporting the cost of building repairs be approved in the amount of $3,000 and allocated as follows. $3,000 from the general grant funds.
Thank you. We have a mover for that motion. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor. Discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? The motion is carried. We'll welcome the deputy warden back to his chair.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson.
The committee discussed the Strait Area Mutual Aid Association funding request for purchasing equipment in the amount of $5,000. I move that the Committee of the Whole recommend to Council to have the CEO inquire with the CFO regarding whether or not the Strait Area Mutual Aid Association funding request meets the criteria for the grant application process, and further move that the request be referred to budget deliberations if the association does not qualify for the grant application process.
It's been moved. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
The committee discussed the correspondence from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities regarding retroactive RCMP costs. I move that the Committee of the Whole recommend to Council to support the Federation of Canadian Municipalities resolution opposing the decision of the federal government to not absorb retroactive RCMP costs, and further move that the warden issue a press release. The resolution is as follows. Prioritizing municipal input in future RCMP contract policing decisions. Whereas the Government of Canada has made the decision in Budget 2023 to make municipalities responsible for all retroactive costs stemming from the latest RCMP collective bargaining agreement. And whereas these extraordinary one-time costs, which in some jurisdictions amount to millions of dollars, will cause significant hardship for communities and residents across the country, and were negotiated without meaningful consultation or a seat at the table for the municipalities responsible for paying the bill. And whereas municipal governments are already paying a growing share of policing costs, but unlike other orders of government, cannot run deficits to spread out the impact of these extraordinary one-time sums and have limited revenue tools. And whereas local governments will now be forced to make difficult decisions that will impact residents, such as cutting essential services, reducing policing levels, raising property taxes significantly, and or canceling work on local infrastructure, at a time when Canadians' concerns about community safety and the cost of living are already rising. And whereas going forward, it is critical that the municipalities have proactively engaged in any forthcoming processes related to contract policing to prevent this occurring again. Therefore be it resolved that the municipality of the County of Richmond joins the Federation of Canadian Municipalities in calling on the federal government to commit to ensuring that local governments are meaningfully consulted, fully informed, and at the table on issues related to policing costs, given the municipal role in keeping our communities safe, and be it further resolved that the municipality of the County of Richmond conveys this support in writing to local members of Parliament.
There's a mouthful. It's been moved. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried.
The committee discussed the correspondence from the Landry Lake Water Utility Board regarding the letter to the Minister of Public Works regarding green hydrogen development support. I move that the Committee of the Whole recommend to Council to support the letter drafted by the Landry Lake Water Utility Board to the Minister of Public Works requesting that the Nova Scotia Department of Public Works work with the utility to reestablish water transfer from the Little River Reservoir to Landry Lake.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried.
The committee discussed the correspondence from Mayor Brenda Chisholm Beaton regarding the request to meet with council to discuss shared municipal files. I move that the Committee of the Whole recommend to council to have staff organize and coordinate a meeting with the Port Hawkesbury Town Council to discuss shared files.
It's been moved. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
The committee discussed the Cape Breton Regional Enterprise Network event and Doug Griffiths, President and CEO of 13 Ways Incorporated. I move that the Committee of the Whole recommend to Council to have the CEO and staff pursue a community-focused event with Doug Griffiths.
It's been moved.
I will wholeheartedly second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
This concludes the Committee of the Whole report for the month of April of 2023, and I move its adoption.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you very much, Counselor. So, moving on, we have the Bylaw and Policy Committee. Counselor Digdon, I believe you're reading this section.
Oh, look at that. I was just bringing it up, but silly. Bylaw and Policy Committee Report, April 2023. The committee met on April 11, 2023. The committee discussed the Fences and Detention of Stray Livestock Act. I move that council accept the recommendation of the Bylaw Policy Committee that council form a Fences Arbitration Committee. This concludes the bylaw. Nope,
Just wait
sorry.
till, yeah. So it's been moved. Do we have a seconder? Seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
This concludes the Bylaw Policy Committee report for the month of April 2023, and I move its adoption.
Been seconded, Counselor Sampson. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, thank you very much. Now, we'll move on to second reading. We have the proposed, bring this up here. It's the amendments, proposed amendments to the West Richmond Plan Area and Municipal Strategy and Land Use Bylaw. This is what we were just discussing previously in the meeting in the public hearing. I can read the, okay, I'll read the whole thing just for the viewers at home. The object of the proposed amendments to the West Richmond Plan Area Municipal Strategy and Land Use bylaws to allow A, the creation of a new heavy industrial restricted I-4 zone, which allows a limited number of industrial uses, including green energy facilities subject to special provisions specifically designed to address the protection of Landry Lake water supply area. B, a concurrent rezoning of a portion of the property identified by PID 7511767 from the light industrial II zone to the new I-4 zone. C, the addition of green energy facilities as permitted use within the watershed protection periphery, W2 zone, subject to special provisions. D, the addition of green energy facilities as permitted use within the heavy industrial I3 zone, subject to existing zone provisions. E, the addition of rezoning policy for the new heavy industrial restricted I4 zone. F, the addition of a definition of green energy facility or facilities in the land use bylaw. And G, removal of single unit dwellings as permitted use within the heavy industrial I4 zone. So we would need a motion for this.
Do we need a motion for reading?
Yeah, for second reading.
I move this, am I moving the second reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do I feel this is foreign? Okay, I'll move the second reading of the proposed amendments to the West Richmond Plan Area Municipal Strategy and Land Use Bylaw.
Thank you. It's been moved. Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have second reading of the special event bylaw, number 67. The municipality recognizes that special events have a very positive impact on the community. Events help foster community involvement, improve quality of life, and provide many economic benefits. At the same time, large events, if not adequately planned, have a potential to impact public safety and negatively impact the community. Therefore, the purpose of this bylaw is to be proactive in working with the businesses and event organizers to attract and implement new special events while supporting and building on the successes of the many existing events held throughout the municipality. I would accept a motion at this time.
I make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved regarding the special event bylaw 67. We have a seconder?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay. Next, we have motion to adopt comfort centers and emergency shelter policy. The purpose of this policy is to outline the overview of procedures and responsibilities regarding the activation of one or more of the centers or shelters to ensure residents have adequate access to temporary sheltering following an emergency.
I move the adoption of the Comfort Center and Emergency Shelter Policy.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Okay. New business. We have a Gaelic flag raising. Motion required as per the municipal of the County of Richmond flag policy. We have a suggested motion here within your package.
I'm assuming that we've already investigated whether or not we have another flag that needs to be raised in May, right?
Not sure.
Like our policy already has certain flags that we're flying, and we
does.
don't have any others that we have.
And there's one that's coming on right at the end of June that may preempt this one coming down a little early.
Okay. Okay.
So
So I
I
would,
think the policy just needs a little tweaking so that it gives us that freedom to do it without motions all the time. And that would be part of our recommendation, is that this get kicked back to
Yeah.
bylaw and policy for another kick at the can on that one.
Okay.
Okay. So, do we wanna make two separate motions here? I don't know, does somebody wanna, one to make sure that flag is done? right
Yeah, so
now?
I'll make the motion to, I guess, we can make it, yeah, we can do it in two ways. I'll make the motion to have, I guess, staff, raise the Gaelic flag, for the month of May.
Okay, thank you. And then we can deal with the other
Okay.
recommendations separate. Would that be,
Absolutely.
all right.
And
Thank you.
arrangements are already underway, so,
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Okay.
awesome.
Oh, sorry.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'm just looking for a motion from council if we could send this back, because there's a number of initiatives that come from the province and observances that are being done across the province. And we shouldn't necessarily need a motion every single time when the province is doing something. We should have the freedom to just follow suit, as we are creatures of the province in the first place. If Province House is doing something, we should be able to follow suit. So if we can put some of that language in our bylaw, that when triggered by the province or federal government, we can do it without a motion, so long as it's being done across the province, something along that line. So if we can get that kicked back to bylaw and policy, that'd be wonderful.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we refer the flag raising policy to the bylaw policy meeting for revisions related to provincial and federal
Yep.
suggestions.
Awesome.
Okay, it's been moved. Do we have a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I think the only discussion I'd have is that, again, I don't like every time it says to replace the municipality flag. So I don't know if, I know we discussed it in the past, of an option, you know, is there one of putting a separate pole for these?
Oh, like raising another pole?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I think the reason, and again, I wasn't here when this policy was done, is we don't have control over the Canadian or provincial flags, right? And normally it's the municipal flag we swap in and out, and that's done across the country. People do that. But there are also lots of people putting up an extra flagpole for these very special events that come up quite frequently now.
that's, yeah.
So,
Right,
yeah, so we
so-
could discuss that at bylaw policy.
Yeah,
We can add it to
understand
the-
where you're, like, if it was only occasionally, that'd be one thing, but we may get to a point where the municipal flag is almost never flying.
Right,
Correct.
Right, yeah.
absolutely.
That's a
So
budget
that's something we
bylaw.
could look at budget as well, and like discuss it at bylaw and policy, and then if you want to, kick it over to your budget discussions.
So I
see
don't
if
wanna
you-
make an altercation to her,
But that would.
her
probably
motion.
come
I
up
just wanted to throw it in there because I'll
Yeah.
forget by the time
That's
it
just
comes
good
to.
discussion. Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that would come up organically during the discussions, so, yeah. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Next, we have a report on Cape Breton South recruiting from health that the warden had prepared. I believe Councillor Sampson, you're dealing with this item?
Yeah.
There you go.
So the warden did ask me to just speak briefly on the Cape Breton South Recruiting for Health Community of Care Awards that were hosted early in April, on April the 13th at the Port Hawkesbury Civic Center. And she did prepare a lovely synopsis, I think, of the event. I think she was the only member of our council that was there. I know I had another event that evening, so I couldn't attend. But by all accounts, it was very well attended and very much appreciated by the folks who were honored that evening. And really a lot of discussion about how they felt, people who even were newcomers to our healthcare field, just feeling very welcome in the area. And I think that bodes very well for us as we look at healthcare recruitment and retention. Some great ideas that came out of the night were, to extend some invitations to folks at the NSCC Strait Area campus that are working in the healthcare field, both instructors and also students, and then also maybe some other private providers of healthcare training, that perhaps they would extend invitations to them in the future. So I think that's great. I would like to just take a minute to actually list off the award recipients for the evening, because I certainly think they deserve to be publicly mentioned once again. So the Healthy Communities Leader, Dr. James Collins, Port Hawkesbury Collaborative Health Center. Mentor Champion, Tara McDonald, Nova Scotia Health, Mental Health and Addictions in Port Hawkesbury. The Lifelong Learner Award went to Charmaine Woodrow. She's an ER nurse at Strait Richmond Hospital. Dedicated Mental Health Long-Term Continuing Care Professional, Carson Sampson, and he's the CEO of the Richmond Villa. The Volunteer Making a Daily Difference, Debbie Sampson of Louisdale. Making Health Your Business, Isle Madame Dental and Ayrshot was the award recipient there. Outstanding Radiology, Pharmacy, and Other Allied Health Professionals, Carly Mumbercat. She's a medical lab technologist at the Strait Richmond Hospital. Healthcare Champion, Dr. Hansball at the Strait Richmond Hospital. Healthcare Champion, another one, Annette Fougere. She's the Assistant Provincial Placement Manager with Nova Scotia Health. And last but definitely not least, another healthcare champion, Rosanna Boudreau, and she is a CCA at St. Anne's Community and Nursing Care Center. So again, congratulations to all of those who were award recipients this year, and looking forward to the awards next year, making them bigger and better than ever. So thanks especially to the organizing team, which is a subset of the Cape Breton South Recruiting for Health Committee, who work hard all of the time to recruit healthcare professionals to the area, but to also do some of these events as well. So thank you to all of them.
That's great. Thank you very much.
So for me, I got ahead of ourselves a little bit last meeting when I just, I did acknowledge Charmaine from District 1, but it's nice to see all these people recognized, and I want to congratulate them all and thank them all for everything they do when it comes to healthcare in our community, so congrats to all of them.
That's great. Okay. Moving along to correspondence action required. We have a briefing note here from the Director of Public Works. Regarding the paving of sidewalk work right behind us.
Okay.
Here again. Would you like me to read the whole briefing note, or?
Well, it was there. If anybody needs me to walk you through it again, it was put out last year and we didn't receive any bids. This year we have. However, they have come in higher than what was allocated, and so the options are there. We can use CCBF for part of it, the entrance side and the sidewalk, but not the exit side. So option 3, like the shortfall we can cover up to option 2 with CCBF. But when it gets to option 3, we would have to take those funds from somewhere else.
Now, I know Chris was gonna have some discussions with,
Conseil Scolaire,
yes,
and there is no
update.
entertaining that idea.
Money.
There's no interest from the
No.
school board?
No, sir.
So leave that to council's thoughts on that.
Well,
It's a shared driveway after all, right?
It is, so we would be paving and putting the sidewalk right up to the property line and then stopping at that point.
Yeah.
And the sidewalk would go on the west side of the road going in.
Yeah, so I guess that being the case, I guess I would only, myself, when you're talking safety of kids, and everybody walking up this side of, there's not too much room there in the morning when kids are walking up there, traffic going up to the iFit Center and school buses and everything, right? So it's, when you're talking safety of kids and pedestrians, with the fact that they they indicated there's no interest there. The third option would be off the table for me for sure. I would go with option 2 for sure. I wouldn't entertain option 3 right now. That's my opinion.
And if I could say, option 2, like I said, we can get from the 195 to 233 with CCBF funds.
Right.
Option 3, though, like if you guys wanted to pursue it, we could defer that conversation for where those other $40,000 would come from until budget deliberations.
Yeah.
We just need the motion from you tonight so we can snag one of these bidders, because we only have till May 5th to secure these guys.
Because option 3 doesn't really affect the sidewalk one way or another anyway.
Right, that's
As far as
right,
the safety
that's right,
concerns
right.
you're speaking of, yeah.
So I'm gonna be completely honest, looking at the, everything that's been hitting us in the last couple months, I don't see option 1, 2, or 3 even being an option. That's at this point in time, that's my personal response. I'm really, disappointed to hear that the school has no interest in entertaining or even looking at, considering that the reason I believe we put this on the table was for the benefit of the school and the students. So it's very disheartening to see that that's not even an interest coming from the French school, and maybe we reach out to the wrong people, and maybe they'll reach back out to us, but I would, at this time, I would strongly have to put this whole thing on the back burner, for now. That would be my, and a very far back burner for now, I guess. I wouldn't even look at bringing it to this year's budget deliberations.
Any other thoughts on this?
I have mixed thoughts, to be very honest with you. I mean, we did originally budget a fair amount of money for this project, and we felt it was important at that time when we did prepare that budget. CAO, just help me out, because in the briefing note, I'm not exactly sure. Am I comparing the new price, you mentioned 195, but I'm seeing 153, so can you help me?
Right, with the additional 50,000 was part of the, or for the exit driveway, that's right, sorry, so it's the other
Like, I'm feeling like it
153.
was 153 was gonna do one side in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And then if we decided we wanted to do the other side, which we knew we would have to pay ourselves,
Yep,
we had allocated 50,000 for that as
Right.
well, right?
correct.
So basically, we had 203 allocated for the whole
Kit and
bit.
caboodle, yep.
But now we're at 277, and then the portion of HST that would be payable by us, right?
Right,
So
yeah, so you're 80-some off, actually.
80 cent, yeah, that's what I had as well. was-
Sorry.
Was about 8, no,
Yeah.
that's okay,
Yep.
I like to get my head around that thought. Part of that would be allocated to the outgoing driveway as well. What is like, I know when we had budget deliberations, like the condition of the driveway, like how poor is the driveway regardless of sidewalks?
Yeah, it's getting bad.
It's getting
The
bad.
exit
Over there,
one's
it's bad.
getting worse, yeah.
Yeah, this side here is worse than that side, in my
It is.
opinion.
Well, I think that's why at budget time, when we were talking about doing the sidewalk, and we said it would come on this side because that's what made sense, then it didn't make sense to fix that side, because this side was actually worse.
It's getting bad, but is it, and again, I'm looking at a complete asphalt paving and driveways and everything else. And the holes are there, but is it at the point where it can't be hot patched, or is it at the point where it can't be?
It could be patched.
Patched over the top. Again, we could be.
It's just you're not gonna pave this without, or put a sidewalk in without
Right.
paving.
Oh,
this, right?
100%,
So, But
100%.
this stuff
Yeah.
that's damaged right now,
Yeah.
patching is not off the table.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably the direction I would go, like you said, CO. There's no way that you're putting sidewalks on this side without repaving that entire side.
Right.
But maybe patching this side to make sure that, it works for a couple of years anyway, right?
Whether it be patching or a cap, like, again, it may be.
Yeah, the conversation changes when we don't have a funding partner. I understand where you're
Oh,
coming from.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would be comfortable to not proceeding this season. I don't think that I'm comfortable with not having it as part of our budget discussion. I actually would like it to be included. It may
For
be
sure.
a discussion that goes nowhere, but I'm not, I do still think it's a project that is important, because to Counselor Sanson's point, there are children walking up and down that hill, and that is concerning to me.
Multiple times a
And a
day.
lot of traffic, and it's very unsafe on that section. So I would like it to be referred to budget, but I'm comfortable with not proceeding in this season.
Okay.
Would you like to make a motion to that effect?
I will make a motion to that effect, yes.
Just to clarify.
So my motion would be that we do not proceed with the project for paving of, for creation of sidewalks and/or paving of the driveways, this season, but would, refer to budget discussions in terms of the following season.
Okay, it's been moved. Do we have a seconder?
Yeah, I guess I'll second it with discussion. If
Okay, it's
we
been
wanna,
moved
so,
and seconded. Further discussion?
so I guess the only discussion I would have is that within the motion, we have to remember that, if it's in utmost need of repair, then we can't not do that repair. So just because right now there's a big crater in the middle, I know we said we're not paving it, but we also have to assume that if it becomes dangerous, that we're willing to fix it.
But that's part of our budget discussion. Like this,
Yeah,
this
but-
conversation right now is about this project that we've already tendered.
Yeah, small
Needing the
ma-
money
Which is
to
not
get the
what we're
tender.
talking about doing.
Yeah, and small
Yeah.
maintenance wouldn't have to come to us anyway. That could,
We can make it happen.
Yeah,
Could be
good.
significantly priced, so.
any other discussion?
Good.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion to not proceed with this, however, to refer it to budget discussions, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay. All right. Next item we have here was some correspondence from the Riverdale Seniors Club. So they have a group, I'll read it out here. For several years, our seniors club of approximately 40 to 50 individuals have been gathering at the Riverdale Community Center every second Wednesday. Along with other activities and interest groups, our group provides a luncheon on each occasion. Wednesday, June 14th will be our last session before the July and August summer recess. The group is forever giving of themselves, and in return for their generosity, a dinner party in their honor would be so appreciative. Any financial assistance you may be able to provide, we will be forever grateful. Yours sincerely, Peggy McNeil.
So I guess I would, is this just a letter that was sent through?
Yeah.
Is there a reason, do they not, I guess, meet the requirements for a grant
For the grant.
application?
They may not have even realized it existed.
Right.
So
So
I-
what, coming out of this conversation and with our CFO as well, is any time we receive anything like this in the future, every
Yes.
single person is gonna be referred to the grant application first. And, then, and only then, if they don't seem to fit in one of those buckets, their first step will be to the CFO to see if there's a way that we can assist. And then if we don't see a way, then it's coming to council for consideration.
Great.
But this one, this is the one that is allowing us to make that change in our procedures to just make sure it's like, doesn't really fit in any of the buckets, so which way you wanna go with it?
You figured this one doesn't fit in?
No,
Oh,
it didn't come in the normal channels,
okay.
and it's
Oh,
making
sorry.
us say, okay, there has to be a better process for
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing now.
okay.
So now,
So,
we have all correspondence going to the clerk, so at this point, she's gonna be pointing them towards the grant application first and foremost, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah,
And then only if they hit a snag, then they can reach out to Jason.
yeah,
If Jason can't help them, then it's coming to this table.
yeah.
so I think that would have been my request for this application, would be to send it back to them, giving them the,
Yep. Just like we did with
information
mutual
required,
aid.
same as you
Yeah.
and anybody else.
Would you like to make that motion then?
I'll make that motion, yeah.
did.
I just wanted to clarify. Is there a seconder on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been
Awesome.
moved and seconded, so that's for staff to reach out to the organization and point them in the direction of the grant program
Yes, sir.
and get them to apply through that channel. Any further discussion?
Just gives us a nice standard process,
Yes.
right? And then
Agreed.
everybody gets the exact same.
Treatment.
Well, and it
process, yeah.
saves time, because by the time it comes to us and we send it back and back and forth,
Yeah.
it could all be approved.
Yep.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Okay, moving on. We have a briefing note from the Director of Public Works, Chris Boudreau, regarding the cost-shared road upgrades, these J-class road upgrades. So as you probably remember, we had submitted several months ago, 3 roads at the time, and they were in order of importance, basically, for the submissions were Marshawn Lane, Sampson Road, and Lobster Plant Road. So we did get a letter from the minister on the 27th of March. Dear Warden Mumberket, thank you for your municipality submission under the cost share program paving subdivision J-class streets for the fiscal 2023-2024. We are pleased to inform you that the road listed below has been approved under this program. Marshawn Lane from Route 320 to the end of the listing for repaving. Total cost estimated before HST to be in the range of about $75,000, which the cost share for the municipality would be $37,500. Under the terms of the cost share agreement, municipality has agreed to notify the department within 20 days from the time of receipt whether it accepts the approved project and the cost estimate. If a notice of acceptance is not received within this time, municipality is deemed to not accept and approve the project and the cost estimates, and the province will proceed no further with the project. So my only worry here is this is
We're
dated
past
March
the 20 days
27th.
already.
Sorry, we had till May 12th on this one, did we not?
It's date stamped March 27th.
Yeah, he was saying we had March 12th.
Or May 12th.
Or May 12th, sorry.
There is a notice of acceptance down below.
Yeah. This is May 12th.
Okay. There may have been contact between
There may have
the
been.
Public Works and Public Works. I
Yep.
guess.
Well, I will make a motion that we proceed with the project. I don't think there's any great surprise. I've been advocating for Marshawn Lane since
Yep.
I was elected, so.
We have a seconder for that motion?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? So just to clarify for the folks at home, I know we've probably all said this several times, but the J-class roads, there's a very select number of J-class roads. So when these come up for cost-sharing agreements, many of the roads within the municipality would never qualify under this program. Otherwise, we'd love to help out more. But anyhow, this is the one tool we have to try and do any kind of upgrading when it comes to road work. Any further discussion? So it's been moved and seconded to ask the Public Works Director to move forward with this project. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Okay. The next we have here is a briefing note regarding the Point Michaud Beach Building. This is from the Director of Public Works as well. I'll read this out. The purpose of this briefing note is to seek council approval of additional CCBF funds in order to proceed with the award of the tender for the Point Michaud Beach Building. The capital investment plan approved with the 2022-2023 municipal budget included $40,000 from the CCBF for the design and construction of a new building at Point Michaud Beach to house recreational and accessibility equipment. There is approximately $36,900 remaining in the 2022-2023 budget to put towards the building construction. The tender closed April 20th with a low bid of $62,248.07 plus HST, or approximately $65,000 net of HST rebate. Staff are seeking council approval to commit an additional 28,100 from CCBF funds in the 2023-2024 budget in order to cover the cost of the building. In order to be ready for the summer activities, we are seeking approval to proceed prior to the approval of the 2023-2024 budget. So I know discussion in the past, a lot of it had to do with the building being pretty well at capacity, and then now, especially with some of the new mobility equipment, I'm sure it would be well beyond. So I'll open that up. I don't know if anyone wants to make a motion to that effect.
Before we make a motion, do we have an actual size of the building? Or I'm just trying to,
Offhand, I don't recall. It's
We
larger
had
than
talked
what's
about it
there,
at budget
do
time
we?
for sure.
Yeah, at the time, I think Laurier, I believe, had given us the size, but.
There were
offhand,
drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I can't tell you.
and is it, I don't know, I'm just looking at, that's, you know, that's a 50% increase in cost. I know, and again, I don't like to hold on to this any longer, but I do know that, you know, material has increased astronomically the last 6 months, but it's also on its way down now, very quickly. So you know, just the 2x6 that was, or 2x4 that was $7 a month and a half ago is now $3.99. So I don't know how to proceed with this. I hate to say send it back for another quote, but I also don't like looking at a cost of an extra $28,000.
no, I can understand that.
And that
I
was the
think-
low bid.
And that was the low bid. And the only reason I asked, because I just quoted one tonight quickly, before coming in. I know it's gotta go through the process, but I just called local contractor and I said a 24x30 building. And again, I don't know what's included in all this building, so I'm just gonna put it out there, 24x30, building, either on a slab or on blocks. Not just, you know, framed, garage door, windows, man door, 30 to 36,000 complete.
Well, you
So
should-
again-
you should hire that person right away. 'cause
Well,
all of a
again,
sudden
I'm just
it's closed
throwing,
and they
I'm just
don't look
throwing it
like
out
that.
there, right? And
I was
that's
gonna say, I guess they had the opportunity to put a bid in on this tender.
true, and again, the tender
And
may have
some-
went in though when the prices were really high.
Yeah, no, and that could be the case. I guess some of the issue here too is we've kind of bumped this a couple of times now,
Yeah.
because I believe this came up in our very first budget, right? And likely, part of the issue there was building costs. I don't doubt that for a minute. I don't know the specifications offhand on this, because I remember we had dealt with that at budget time, and that's why we'd allotted a certain amount towards it.
And not that I don't wanna see it done, because it's definitely required and it's needed, it's just at what cost?
Like, yeah, and I think part of the problem, if we delayed it, if we lose another season, I don't know that there's any guarantee it's gonna come in a lot less next year, if it is something we definitely wanna proceed with. But that's up to council to decide.
I'm inclined to proceed with the project, because it is something that has been identified as necessary. And if we don't proceed and we don't have the space, then we might find ourselves not able to offer certain programs that have become a staple right at the beach in terms of like the surfing programs or whatever. And also, I certainly would not want to see any of the accessibility equipment or mobility, that's such a valuable tool to allowing all our residents to access the beach. So I would be prepared to make a motion to proceed by increasing the budget from the CCBF funds.
Do we have a
Yeah,
second or-
yeah, I'll second that. I'm okay with that because, like Councilor Melanie said, we're making some strides forward here and, there's a lot of focus on accessibility and all that stuff, right? So, and as you mentioned, Deputy Warden, as you mentioned, this has been on our budget for the last couple of years, right? I think it was on our first initial budget
I believe
to get
so,
this
yeah.
building.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So
And
I think it's long
A lot
over.
of the holdup there, actually, I think was working through the provincial government and getting all the things lined up.
Yep.
It wasn't that, we had allotted that money at
Right.
the time, but it simply wasn't a possibility from what I understood through the recreation department, because they were still waiting on approvals and so on, because the park itself is a provincial park, even though that's something we're covering, and the surfing programs are done through the municipality,
Yeah.
and the lifeguards are, yeah. So, okay, so it's been moved and seconded, any further discussion?
I think the only discussion I would have is we have to remember we have two, I guess, that, and it just for those who haven't picked it up in the last week, Pondville Beach has been talk of the town. So, I know we don't offer the same service, however, it's something that's been on my radar since I started to, so I believe that, I'm okay with supporting it. I just had a little difficulty with the increase in cost, that's all.
So did we.
It's,
Everybody.
Again, I think we have to remember, we have two, so, the Pondville Beach is also going to be looking for definitely some upgrades in the near future, and
Yeah, and if you've seen some of those photos surfacing on Facebook the last
Yeah.
little while, since the last couple of days, I've been down there personally with our MLA and with DNR, and that beach is in hard shape and is
Oh,
in
yeah.
desperate need of some work, right? So,
Oh, I mean, we have lots of, we have those beaches, we also have the Bredor Lakes, which are also, there's areas there that need work too, so. I think those are all valid points, but
Yeah.
one doesn't necessarily
Oh, no,
mean
true.
that the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
can't happen.
No,
right?
No, no.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But we really only have
There's
two.
a specific purpose.
Yeah.
But both
here,
are owned by the province, right? And that's the only
That-
part I'm pointing out there.
Yes, of course, but
Yeah.
we're not talking about doing repairs or maintenance to the beach area. We're talking about building infrastructure that we will use for our programs,
Correct.
right? So
For
there's,
people
it's
that-
quite a difference.
For
Yep.
people that go to the beach.
Correct, yeah.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
it all ties in with tourism, and we wanna have as many sites as possible for
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
to visit and spend time
Yes,
at.
agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Correspondence for information purposes only. We have a letter here from Holy Guardian Angels Parish. Attention, what's that? Yes, attention warden, counselors, and staff. On January 8th, 2023, the faith community of the Holy Guardian Angels Parish gathered to celebrate the anniversary of 200 years as the 9th parish within the Diocese of Antigonish. Our theme for the year-long celebrations is Ancestry, Faith, and Family, dedicated to the ancestors who were the pioneers in this journey. We are especially grateful to the many families who contributed to the display of nearly 70 family banners which adorn the walls of the church, serving as a reminder of sacrifice and commitment to the building of our faith community. There are any number of events during the year which will bring friends and family together, celebrating our heritage. On Sunday afternoon, September 3rd, 2023, Bishop Wayne Kirkpatrick will join with parishioners of Holy Guardian Angels Parish in a mass of thanksgiving starting at 3 p.m., followed by a meal at the Lordways Community Center. This occasion is a special opportunity for us to acknowledge the contributions made by individuals past and present to the educational and spiritual growth of our faith community. On behalf of the Holy Guardian Angels Parish, I wish to extend an invitation for you to join us in September as we pay tribute to our ancestors in thankful praise and in offering support for future generations. Sincerely, Stephen Sampson, Chair, 200th Anniversary Planning Committee. So that's just some information for everybody. It's something coming up. The banners are quite beautiful to see. It's something was done, I believe, with the 175th anniversary as well. I remember years ago, they'd done something similar at the time. And next piece of correspondence here. This one is to the CAO, so I don't know if you want to speak on this one.
It's just the ongoing review, pardon me, Mr. Chair, through you to the council and those listening. It's a review of the RENs, the Regional Enterprise Networks across the province, just looking at how they're engaging and attracting new business and economic development across the province. And it's just ongoing, and it's a status update from the Deputy Minister's office that it's still underway, and they'll report back to us when they know more.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And the last thing on here, the Seniors Take Action Coalition, their Better with Age Spring 2023 newsletter. There's a link to it. If anyone wanted to check that out, a lot of great information in there. Moving right along, unfinished business. We have a question period response regarding summary offense tickets for land use bylaw. What is the process that the Eastern District Planning Commission uses to issue summary offense tickets, and what is the appeal process of summary offense tickets? I'm gonna refer this to you, I believe, sir. I heard you say earlier you had some
I
answers on
did.
this.
Well, I reached out to our good friends over at the Planning Commission and said, you know, what are your SOPs when it comes to, or standard operating procedures, when issuing SOTs or summary offense tickets? And they put a little briefing note together, which I'll pass off to the clerk so that it can be included in our minutes and you guys will have it to refer to in the future. Decisions to lay charges concerning a minor offense used in the summary offense ticket will be a decision of the special constable. The special constable will only proceed with a charge when there are reasonable probable grounds to believe that an offense has occurred. Warnings may be issued concerning a minor offense where deemed appropriate. In deciding whether to proceed with a warning or ticket, the special constable will respect the principle of equal protection and benefit of the law. The decision will be made in a non-discriminatory and fair manner which protects the public interest at large. In laying out the charges, consideration of the public interest may be relevant in determining whether the public interest may be served. The following factors should be considered: whether there's significant risk to human life, health, property, or in the environment, any record of compliance, any relevant history, whether the violation seems deliberate in nature, or if not deliberate, the degree of negligence or carelessness involved, whether the violation has been repeated or warnings were disregarded, and whether a ticket or prosecution is likely to have a detrimental effect or a deterrent effect on the individual or others. In conclusion, EDPC special constables will use their utmost professional judgment when it comes to the decision of issuing summary offense tickets, and if I have further questions, I can reach out to them.
Thank you very much, and that is in our package.
Yeah, oh, he did,
Yep,
oh, okay, good.
It's already in there, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
perfect. Thank you very much.
and the appeal process, of course, is going to court and fighting the ticket, which is right down the summary offense ticket.
Okay, so next we get the review of action items. Not sure if there's any comments or concerns regarding that.
That's the course of, I think that's the question I had asked, but forgot to send it back to you. So I guess the question would be, if the ticket was issued, what is the recourse that
To fight it in court, same as you would a traffic ticket.
okay,
Because any of our summary offense tickets, just like ours with our bylaws or EDPCs, are registered with the DOJ to be enforceable.
Any other comments, concerns, questions? Okay, so yeah, the action item list, any issues there, anybody sees, or anything need adjusted? Hearing none, we'll move right along. Items added to the agenda, the items we had were actually dealt with just because of the rearrangement of the EDPC presentation, and the Public Works regarding the Point Michelle Beach building had been sent to us earlier in the day anyway, so
Yep.
it was just to make note if anyone wasn't aware of it. All right, moving right along, a question period restricted to the remainder of the agenda following the committee reports. Phone in number 902-226-9885. We'll
Kind
give
of
that a
late for the
couple of
warden
minutes.
to call in.
I
Yeah,
think
what's
there's
the
quite a
time
few hour
difference?
time difference.
It should be a good 6 hours, probably.
Ahead of us,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning.
She's
she
probably
could be
still
calling,
up.
but I don't
Oh, yeah.
recommend we
Well, she's
answer.
probably typing
She's probably
wherever she
sending
is.
emails wherever she is.
I don't recommend we answer if she calls.
If it's collect, let it go. All right, I don't think we're getting any questions. So we have no in camera.
No, sir?
Being no further business, we'll consider the meeting adjourned.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Great job,
Chair.
Deputy.